In this video, we're going to explore why making an emotional connection is the first step to managing unexpected or challenging behaviours. When we see a scout doing something that we're not okay with, it's really natural for us to want to jump in and correct that behaviour really quickly. But it's often not a productive first step. We're going to explore why. This advice is really useful for scouts who struggle to manage big feelings, scouts who have a lot of anxiety, and scouts or adults actually who have really volatile outbursts or meltdowns. We do this because behavior management is much more effective when we work together with our scouts and not against them. When we establish a connection before we try to change behaviors, it helps give scouts a chance to see that we're ready to work with them and not against them. And it helps to move them back to a calm state where they can work through their behaviors. When scouts are exhibiting really challenging or big behaviors, usually their brains are in a fight or flight mode, all right? They're not ready to problem solve with us. And the first step to getting to where we need to be is to make sure that they feel safe and not threatened. And it's really easy when we shout at them or have really sudden reactions to keep activating that fight or flight response, which isn't going to help us. The first thing to do is take a beat and check in with yourself. We're going to have a much easier time managing unexpected behaviors if we're calm, all right? And if we have that calm to share with our scouts. Now, if you're busy with a big group of scouts, you might need to ask another adult to take over for a minute and remind yourself of the game plan as you go in. The first thing that you're going to do is connect with them, make them feel safe. Then we're going to move on to engaging. That's about finding out what's going on for them, what might have started this big behavior. And then finally, we're going to respond and go through that process in your head before you get into it, all right? Sometimes you aren't going to be in a good state to engage with a scout, and that's okay. You can ask another leader or another adult to. We're not going to be able to always respond to every single situation, and you might actually need to triage it. And what I mean when I say that is deal with the biggest problem first, like, for example, if all of your cubs feel a bit out of control, before you then go and work with one scout. Once we know that we're ready to engage in connecting, we need to show our scouts that we're ready. We're going to get down on their level because grown adults are so much taller than scouts and especially little cubs, and we can be really intimidating. So start off by getting down to their eye height or even lower. You might need to sit down on the floor. You might even need to lie down next to them if they are flat out on the floor. We're going to listen to them. And it's really tempting to snap and tell a scout to just stop doing that or stop crying, but we actually can't hear what's happening for them if we're talking over them. So we've got to just keep it shut for a second. We're also going to give them a little bit of space. We're going to ask other young people, other adults to move away, and we're not going to get too close. We want to respect their bubble of personal space. Now, some scouts, when they're upset, they're actually going to lean in. They might want a hug. They might want some physical reassurance. And if their body language is saying, yes, I really want to connect with you physically, then absolutely go ahead and do that. But avoid the temptation to really get down absolutely right up next to them because it's more likely to stress them. We're going to show our scout that we're tuned into them by mirroring them. And mirroring starts by repeating what they're saying out loud. And by repeating it right back at them exactly as they're saying it, you're showing them that you're tuning in, you're listening, you're present with them, but you're also getting some time to assess what's going on around you and look for any clues about what might have set off this unexpected behavior. Now, sometimes scouts aren't going to say anything, and you can still mirror by describing their actions or describing their facial expressions, and not what they did wrong, but what they're doing right now. And some people say to me, oh, but I don't like this language that they're using, or we don't encourage swearing or cussing. In that moment, though, your scout isn't open for a lesson. So if they're using all kinds of terrible language, you don't necessarily need to repeat it, but pick out some bits that you can say out loud. It's not the time to censor them. They're not ready for that. That's something that we're going to get to later when we actually make a plan with them on how to address this behavior. And as you begin to understand the situation, try to add back some descriptive words to summarize their feelings. What we want to do is name it to tame it. We want to name those feelings because when we do, we're putting them into a box and that helps our scouts understand them a bit better. Okay, so you might say, oh, you're feeling really upset that your patrol didn't win the game. You're really frustrated. All right, and sometimes you're going to be wrong, and that's okay because a lot of scouts are actually going to take that opportunity to correct you, and they'll say, no, I'm not frustrated. I'm really angry. And that's actually great because it's encouraging their brain to process what they're feeling so that they can put it into words. It's really tempting to just ask, how are you feeling? Without giving them a suggestion, but this actually often doesn't help because lots of kids, and adults too actually, who have a hard time with managing their feelings often struggle to understand what they're feeling inside their body. Once you've established a connection and helped your scout feel safe by doing all those little things like getting on their level, mirroring their language, and helping them name big feelings to tame them, then you can move on to actually engaging, to asking questions of them about what happened, getting more information to help unearth what actually is going on below the surface that's causing those unexpected or challenging behaviors. It's really tempting to dive in and react really quickly when things aren't okay, but starting with a connection gives us a strong foundation to problem solve unexpected behaviors together. It's really natural to want to jump in, but if we don't understand what's driving behavior, we can't help scouts change it. And when they're in a fight or flight state, they're not ready to understand their own feelings, and they're definitely not ready to help change them. Jumping straight to a situation, particularly if a scout is having a meltdown or a big outburst, actually means we're more likely to escalate a situation rather than find a solution. It's not always going to be easy. It's okay to get it wrong. Trying any of this is a fantastic first step, and you're going to get better at it with practice. So keep going. Give it a try next time something happens that you're not quite expecting, and just see how you go. See how your scout reacts. Good luck.